Hey there ladies and gents, Pops here. Welcome back to Judith Plains, Montana in Farming Simulator 2025 and welcome to October. So this is going to be a big month. As you will have seen at the end of the last episode, our 5 existing fields are now all planted up, fertilised and growing. So we now have to wait and see the results of those. So we have a big plan for what to do next. The plan involves this field here. Ice cream man's keen this time of day. Yeah, this field here. Let me just show you something about this field. That's the first thing to show you. It is just over £1 million to buy it. The sharp-eyed amongst you will have noticed that we haven't quite got £1 million in the bank. So how are we going to buy this 17.73 hectare field? So it's massive. It is well over double anything we've already got. But the main thing about this field is it is cotton. And I don't know if it's going to show this, but it is ready to harvest. So if we buy this field, we can take the cotton crop straight off that field and sell it, which will give us a substantial amount of our investment back. Now there is some good news to add to this 227. If we look at our contracts, if you remember at the end of the last episode we were doing some cultivating, and these two contracts, one's worth 103, one's worth 88, those are ready to collect, so we'll collect that one and we will collect that one. Suddenly we're now at 419,000. So how do we go about the rest of it? Well, we had a word with the bank, as you can imagine. They are fairly interested. Another ice cream wagon. What's going on? Are we expecting a hot day? The bank are fairly interested, mainly because of all these substantial buildings and the crops that we have in the grain silo, which will be held as security against, or the buildings will, against any monies we borrow. But the other thing is, they've had a look at our inventory, what it is we possess, discussed with us what we're going to do with our business, and have basically said to us they will lend us some money, but not all of it, and we need to sell some of our kit, the kit that we are not particularly using. So I will meet you down at the dealership. So let me talk you through my thought process here. We have, first of all, ignore the tractor, that belongs to this dealership. It's one of those freebie ones that we can borrow off the forecourt there, that is not ours to sell. But the planter and the planter extension, they can be sold. They would be needed maybe in the future, but not at the moment, because we're not looking at doing anything in respect of the crops that they're relevant to. So we are going to sell those two bits of equipment. Perhaps a bit more surprisingly, we are going to sell our combine harvester. The reason being, we've just done our harvesting. It's going to be the best part of another year before we need it again, by which time hopefully we will have made enough money to purchase something like this back again. And even if we haven't, there are harvesters sat here that we can use. So if we get to next harvest season without having enough money to buy ourselves a harvester back, we can borrow one. Now, the big downside, and this is relevant to anybody who might want to partake of Judith Plains, is if you borrow any of these bits of equipment, the forage wagon, the tractors, I believe you cannot use AI workers. So you would have to conduct your business manually. That is worth bearing in mind if you're, for example, there are 2 of these big harvesters. I don't think you could borrow both of them, have one working on an AI worker or on courseplay, and one working manually yourself, or indeed 2 of them with AI workers, because it doesn't recognise your ownership of it, quite rightly, because you don't own it. Next up, this bad boy. As much as I love both of these bits of equipment, the Ford is so slow that it isn't really much use to us. We're much better with much quicker tractors, and unfortunately Big Roy, exactly the same story. This piece of a kit, as awesome as it is too big and slow for what we want. Finally, forage wagon. Again, something we would probably look to get back in the future. We don't need now. Perfectly obvious reason to start off with is we don't have any cows yet, so we don't need any TMR. But even when we do have some cows, TMR would be best, because that's going to give you 100% on your feed value. But silage, which we have and will keep having a substantial amount of, gives you 90% anyway. We're only gaining 10% by making TMR. So my thought at the moment is we can survive on silage when we do have cows, and at the moment we don't have any cows anyway. So basically I am going to sell this lot, then we will see what we've got in the bank. Then we will talk to the bank about topping us up. We obviously need a bit more than just the price of the field, because we're going to need to hire a cotton harvester and a cotton trailer, and we're going to need to be able to put workers on that, because life's too short and that cotton field is going to take many a real life hour to do. So yeah, we'll see what this lot makes first, then we'll decide what we're going to do in terms of borrowing money from the bank. So we have forage wagon, sell 51,000, Big Roy, sell 197,000. Oh, it's a lot quieter when it goes off, isn't it? It's disappeared. Next up we have the Ford. See what he's worth. Whoop. $161,000. This is why these vehicles had to be sold. They're just too much value sat doing nothing, just being a toy, because I like playing with them. Harvester. $302,000. And finally, as I say, the tractor isn't ours. But we can sell the equipment. So sell 20,000 and sell. Okay. Tractor will still be there because it's not been sold. We'll put this somewhere out here. Right, let's go back to the farm and talk about purchasing fields. Let's go and shut his doors for him as well. Actually, thinking about it, there is no point going back to the farm. We can do our business from here because we're going to need to rent a cotton harvester if our purchase is successful. So let's have a look at the field situation. So the first thing to note is that with the contracts we've done and the equipment we've sold, we don't actually need a loan. We've now got 1.22 million in the bank. Made more money out of the equipment than I'd bargained we were going to do. Does mean that as and when we do want a harvester back, we might borrow against some of our other assets to get the harvester. But like I said, we don't need it for a year, so there's no great point in it just sitting in the yard using up money. We can spend that bit of money we've got on something else. I'm thinking maybe some moo cows, to give them their technical term, to keep our chickens company. But the first thing we do need to do, without further ado, easy as that, £1.064 million. Thank you very much. So let's have a look. Before we go any further, slight disclaimer. This may go horribly wrong. I can honestly say, and it's, I would imagine, have become fairly obvious that I'm a bit of a rookie noob at this, but I have never owned or dealt with or harvested a cotton field before. So this is going to be new to me, so much so. Grassland, baling, roots, special crops, cotton harvesters, so cotton transport, square around 1 bale, 2 bales, I think we're just going to go keep it simple here. Cotton is not something we're going to be involved in, so it is just for this field. So I think what we do need to do is just hire this equipment. Yeah, 1,300 quid. And then we'll need to add its work hours on if we go over the hour. I get the feeling that was the cheap end of the bargain. Let's have a look at cotton harvesters. $20,000 litres. Cotton. Square bales. 10,000 litres. Round bales. 6 mile an hour cotton. Right, okay, no brainer. We're going for the case. We just don't need the additional additional what? Was it just additional size? Yeah, it's not even particularly giving us much size. So we are going to lease the beast. Wow, 24,000 just to borrow it. But that's better than nearly 300,000 to buy it, so let's get that. We will go outside and have a look at what we've got. So here they are. Right, without any further ado, I am going to drive this up to the cotton farm and I'm going to get it to work. In the meantime, we can borrow one of the tractors down here and we'll take this up to the farm as well. Okay, here is our field. We are going to use quartz plate. Not even going to pretend that I'm going to do this. I could probably go on vacation in the time it's going to take to do this. So let's have a look. So headlands. Let's do 5 headlands. May as well give it a longer run around the outside. Start on the headlands. Everything else I think should be fine. It's just a square clear field. It would help if it knew which field to do. That one. See what happens. There we go. Okay, so it's going to start here, round in, round in, round in, round in, and then it's going to go up and down. Just have a look, see what that looks like. Yeah, something like that. Start from the first waypoint. Go. Where are you going? Don't drive over my field. Okay, interesting. There's a substantial amount of weeds in this field. That is going to be one of our next jobs. see you back here in just under 4 hours. Cue some sort of music or cinematic stuff, which won't last 4 hours, I promise you. Maybe 30 seconds. So in the meantime, while that's all going on, I've come down to the shop. We need a hoe, and as far as I can see, I've just had a look. If you need a hoe, this is the hoe. So combinations, too worried about weight. I think we just got to bite the bullet and get this. We may as well buy it. It is going to come in useful. Yeah, let's just go for it. Now, we're getting low on money, so this is the point where we maybe do think about that loan from the bank, because we need a small tractor, maybe a medium tractor. Yeah, let's look at the mediums. Want about 180, 200 horsepower. Challenger might do, or the white. Just really needs to be a bit of a run around. Right. You know what, I'm going to go for the white. Let's have a look, see what we can do with it. Okay, so that would give us 225. We don't need that much. $200, 180. We can just afford that. Okay, we are gonna buy that. Let's just double sense check what we're thinking here. Wheel setup. Narrow tyres, I think, for use with the hoe. So 180 horsepower, narrow tyres. It's got the weight on the front, so we don't need to buy an additional weight. 68,000. We've got 72 by Okay, that's seriously decreased the amount of money we have in the bank. Let's we're stuck again. Let's get this up to the farm, and then I think we are going to consider taking out the loan option for a little bit of money, because we have wages to pay for the AI worker and we want them to keep going. Alternatively, of course, we could sell one of the... That's the solution. We've got bales of cotton, haven't we? Let's sell one of those. Right, we're going to leave that to do its thing. Let's go and get a bale collected before we run out of money. Okay, let's pick up this bale. I believe we just need to back up to it. Right, so do we need to be operating position? There we go. And B again for transporting position. All we're going to do now is work out where we're taking it. So I'm thinking maybe the farmer's market, just due to the fact that the others are quite a bit further away. We're only selling the one bale at the moment, just want to get some money in the bank, and then we'll yeah, we could get a little bit more if we wait, but we'll let's get this one sold. We'll go down to the farmer's market. Okay. This will be a new part of the map that we haven't had much to do with yet. So we need to go down here, we need to go past our farm. We need to go along the side of the oval field and turn left at the end of that. So left here. That's the oval field. We can just about see our tractor hoeing in the background. It's the railway complex, grain company. Oh, stay on the right side of the road. Cross over the railway tracks. This is where it goes on and off the oval. To go down and over the bridge. Takes us over the river, Look at that, beautiful. I think the place we're looking for is just over there. So we need to come down. Turn right at the bottom. And then the farmer's market is part of this complex here. Just need to work out in here maybe. Does that look like it might be a bale point? Nope. Hello everybody. Where do you want me to put the bales? Does it go in there? Interesting. Let's see if we can find someone to ask. Hello? Excuse me, mate. So I'm thinking it's round the other side. So we need to pick this bad boy up. So it's definitely at the farmer's market. As far as I can tell, this is the only sales point. If this doesn't work, we'll have to find somewhere else. No. No. Okay. Disappointing. Let's see what other options we've got. Excuse me, anybody around? Anybody? Oh, you mate. Do you know? Yeah. Yeah, you reckon? Grant, thank you. So he thinks if we've got cotton, less pace for us is the spinnery, which is located on the outskirts of the city of Hobson. He basically said, stay on this road, keep going. When you get to McDonald's, it's the building after it. So we will go down and have our first look at Hobson. So this would be the valley over the Judith River, train track there. Looks like a nice little marina area, we'll have to visit that sometime. Yeah, obviously a very modern flyover down to the next level. So we'll carry on down here. This is all new territory to us. That field needs weeding. Wonder if we've got any weeding contracts we can do. Now we've bought ourselves a tractor and a hoe, we may as well put them to use. Ah, now this is the Judith River. Yeah. Right. Look at this. There's a sailboat there. It's a funny place for a sailboat, but take it he's come in for a reason. Would normally be out and about somewhere where it's a bit windier. Okay, let's see. Welcome to the city of Hobson, Montana. So Waffles on the right. See the golden arches, so we're in the right place. So Spinnery. Immediately after McDonald's, he said. Ah, there's bales of cotton there. Right, there's the delivery point. Still didn't seem to work. What are we doing wrong here? Can't see any other drop-off point. Right. Let's get it loaded back on. There's no two ways about it. We need to sell our bale. So we need to work out how and where. So in the meantime, our worker in the oval field here has absolutely smashed it out. Weeded the whole field. So this can now go up to the other big field opposite the cotton field and get to work on there as well. Now we might just check to see if there's any weeding contracts, because this is a very quick process. So because it's taken so long to solve our cotton problem, the worst case scenario has happened. We have run out of money, and therefore our AI workers on our cotton field and indeed on our hoeing operation have quit and left. We need to have a quick word with the bank. And so we've borrowed 100,000 from the bank just to give ourselves a little bit of leeway till we can work out what we're doing with our cotton bales. Hopefully once the couple of bales are sold we can pay that money straight back again. let's see if we can get this guy going again. Well, so it seems that it was a case of doing everything right other than not getting it in completely the right position. Got it in the trigger point and it's sold. So the first thing we're going to do is set off back. But we are fairly swiftly going to give the bank their £100,000 back and say thank you very much. And we will go and get another bale and we'll start transporting them down. Now we know how to do it. Just a fairly lengthy journey. See you back at the field. And we are finally finished. So all I've got to do now is several trips up and down, getting everything put at the sale point. We just need to work out how do we unload this. We press O. And it does indeed work. Like so. Just need to go and get that bale down there as well. Right, ladies and gents, that will do for today's episode. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I will see you again next time. Be good. Stay safe. See you all again very soon.